Hey everybody, Tom Tezak here, and in Maui. Just wanted to every Sunday I've been trying to jump online and give an overview of what's happening in Maui, what to expect. I know I've got a lot of clients that have been checking it out and seeing what's going on from the mainland. I'd just like to real quick for a few minutes just share with what's happening. If you have any questions, as you're watching this, you want to know something about what's happening on Maui, by all means, let me know. Just type them in. You might have to approve it for it to come into StreamYard for me to see it. StreamYard's the platform that I use that then shares it across the other places where you might be able to watch this. Anyway, Tom Tezak here again in Maui. So the number one question people are asking is quarantine still happening? Can you get to Maui? Can you come to Hawaii? Yes, you can come to Maui. You can get a flight. There are flights that are coming into the islands. I think yesterday there were about 450 tourists that showed up. You are required to quarantine for 14 days. Yes, Casey, the quarantine is still in place. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing that still for another few weeks. If you are traveling inter-island, you do not have to quarantine effective on the 16th. You can go inter-island, so there won't be a problem for quarantining inside the state. But if you're coming in from the mainland, you will need to quarantine for 14 days. I anticipate that's going to still go into early July. Hopefully they'll end it by then, but the 16th of June will be when inter-island stops. If you do come to the island and you quarantine for 14 days, then you're free to go after that. There are a lot of people that own property here that are coming in quarantining because they've got properties. I know my family was off island. They came back and they're just finishing their quarantine today. So they're pretty excited to get out of the house. And so that's happening. I think we're going to, again, see that open up based on some of the other things that are happening on the island and a lot of the pressure that the local businesses in the state are putting on the government officials to deal with that. Governor Ige said he is prepared for more cases once things have begun to open up, but he is okay with that as long as it's manageable and the healthcare system can accommodate it. So that's the quarantine. What activities are opened? So pretty much everything on Maui has opened up to some degree with the exception of movie theaters and bars. Restaurants, you can now go into a restaurant, you can sit down and have dinner. You have to wear a mask on your way in, but at the table when you're eating, you can take the mask off. The staff is cleaning everything as we've been talking about and wiping and sanitizing things down. So that's the whole new normal. One of the things that we are experiencing for some of our businesses is that their employees, some of them don't want to come back to work because they're making more money on unemployment with the government subsidy than they are making at work. So that's sort of a tough spot. But anyway, we're going to work through that. That we just know that will happen, and it's understandable. So restaurants are open on Oahu. They pushed the governor or the mayor and the governor to open up bars that serve food. So that's happening as well on Oahu. So I think within the next couple days, they're going to announce when they're going to start allowing other places to open, bars and restaurants, and the full gamut. So that's what we're anticipating. One place that you can get some great information if you want to follow, our lieutenant governor has been doing a really pretty good job of just keeping people abreast of what's happening. He does about a minute and a half quick Instagram video where he sort of gives an overview of what's happening. On Instagram, you can find him at LTGov Josh Green. And I know my daughter has been loving watching him, and he just, again, it's real quick and brief when he does his post. He calls it his whiteboard post. So it's he is bringing that information to the folks on the island and all over the country. Lastly, what's up with real estate? You know, I've been trying to follow and bring different kind of statistics to everybody as far as what's happening. Personally, I've been really busy the last couple weeks. I've listed 4 properties. I initially was telling my clients, let's hold off on listing now. I think it's a perfect opportunity to list properties. We are starting to see way more demand. I think I probably had 10 to 12 showings this past week on my different listings. So definitely there are people out looking. Some of those showings have been video. Some of those showings have been live and in person. So there has been more activity. We sold a property a week ago. We've been negotiating a contract on another one of my listings over the last couple days. So there are buyers out there. There are people looking to buy. And so this time on the statistics, I wanted to sort of give a comparison of what things sold for the last 4 or 5 weeks and what the percentage to list price was. And I found it really interesting because I think I think there's opportunity here for some buyers and some sellers just want to sell. I think we're also starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so that opportunity may be disappearing. But to give you an idea, the week of May 4th through the 10th, we had 9 closings for around $5.8 million, and it was at 99.25% of list price. So those were the old sales that were in place prior to COVID-19. The next week, May 11th to the 17th, we had 8 sales, and this is closings, not pending. So this is where the real numbers hit, where we really get the information. This is where it starts to get a little bit fascinating. We had 8 sales for right around $11.7 million. And that week, the sales prices were at 94.5% of list price. So quite a bit down. The next week, the 18th through the 24th, we only had 4 sales. So that was when COVID started happening. Everything was going crazy because it takes us 30 to 60 days to close a transaction. So it was a little bit sketch, so a lot less sales. Still though, 97.6% of asking price with about $4 million in sales. That was our lowest week in the past 5 weeks. And then 2 weeks ago, the 25th through the 31st was our biggest week for 10 sales with $6.5 million in sales. And again, the value went up again. So it might have been some of the old sales closing at 96.9%. This last week is really the telling week, and this is really quite dramatically different. From June 1st to June 7th, we had 6 sales, and that for last week, the sale to list price was 89.7%, so 10% off the asking price. And that's more in the middle of COVID, people taking list offers and selling at a discount. So that's what I'm looking, and I want to keep following that to see what's happening in the market. I anticipate we're going to see that for the next couple of weeks, where we're going to see some substantial discounts. It always depends on the sales prices, and if there was a big or small sale that happens that was close or far apart can really impact those numbers. Just to give you another idea, one other thing, new listings in the last 30 days, we had 90 new listings. So quite a bit more inventory has been coming up, about 20, 25 listings a week in new inventory. So that leads me to, is it time to buy or sell? As I said earlier, I am encouraging my clients that have been contemplating selling their properties. I think it's time to get on the market. There's limited inventory. I just listed, as I said, 4 properties, a property in Wailea, Elua. It is the only property. It's coming on the market tomorrow or Tuesday. It will be the only property in Wailea, Elua on the market. There are several properties that have zero listings or 1 in the condominiums in Wailea. So that's definitely an opportunity to get into the market without any competition. And I think that's always positive. Listed a home in an Ohana on Mo'olio. There's not a whole lot of inventory in that market either. Keala o Wailea, a relatively new condominium complex with an amazing view, 2 bedrooms. We just brought that to market. We've already got a ton of interest in that property. And then a luxury home in Wailea for just over $4 million. And that one we've already had showings on as well. So if you've got any questions, if you want to see what's out there, I still think there are some great opportunities and some great opportunities to buy property. Hey, Aaron, how you doing? And definitely some as I say, some great opportunities to buy properties here in Maui. And I think it's going to be a moving target as time goes on. I think the closer we get to the end of the issues with COVID, I think the more the less flexible our sellers are going to be. Just keep in mind. Lastly, I would just like to say that I think that outside of COVID and the epidemic, the whole the events across the country with Mr. for the it's just such a shame that we are seeing all of these troubles in our country, and I'm really saddened by that. I hope that we can figure out how to make things way better than they have been and keep our world moving forward instead of backwards. Backwards is never a good way to go. So I hope that we can get to a place where we love each other a lot more. I think that's where it all starts, being getting a place that we are just more compassionate, understanding, empathetic will make the world a better place. So anyway, Aaron Barrett has asked, have we started to reopen? Yes, I mentioned that a little earlier, Aaron. We are mostly reopened, but it's hard to get in and out of the island. So hopefully when we lose the quarantine, we're going to start to see a bunch of people coming back, and we will get back on track. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there. We will get back opened up again. So looking forward to seeing everybody here on Maui, and hopefully you're all enjoying your Sunday afternoon, and we'll talk soon. Aloha.